You know that person who sees an incoming call and suddenly feels their chest tighten, but if you text them, they'll reply with a paragraph, emojis, voice notes, even memes. That person isn't rude, they're not antisocial, and they're definitely not bad at communication. They're protecting something. If you're someone who can think clearly while typing but freezes when the phone rings, this is going to feel uncomfortably accurate, because today we're breaking down the psychology of people who avoid phone calls but can text for hours. Here's the thing, phone calls demand instant presence. There's no pause button, no time to organize your thoughts, no space to regulate how you sound, how fast you respond, or whether your reaction makes sense. Texting is different. Texting gives you control. You can read, pause, think, rewrite, and respond when your nervous system is ready. Psychologists explain this through something called response time control. Some brains feel safest when they're allowed to process before reacting. A phone call removes that safety net. And for people who are sensitive, thoughtful, or anxious, that sudden demand feels overwhelming. Not because they don't care, but because they care too much about saying the right thing. There's also the emotional layer. On a call, tone matters. Silence matters. Every and every pause feels exposed. But over text, emotions feel contained. You can express warmth without pressure, honesty without performance. For many people, phone calls feel like being watched. Texting feels like being understood. And no, this isn't about being bad with people. In fact, studies suggest that people who prefer text communication are often highly self-aware, emotionally intelligent, and deeply considerate. They think before they speak. They don't like interrupting. They don't like reacting without reflection. But society treats phone avoidance like a flaw, like you're immature, or scared, or disconnected. What no one talks about is how modern communication never evolved with anxious nervous systems in mind. The phone was designed for urgency. Some people are wired for intention. Now, there is an important distinction. Some people avoid calls because they prefer depth and control. Others avoid calls because anxiety has taken over and every ring feels like a threat. One is preference, the other is avoidance, and the difference matters. But if you're someone who can hold long, meaningful conversations through text, who shows up emotionally, who just needs space to process, you're not broken, you're not cold, you're not disconnected. You just communicate best when pressure is removed. So if you've ever declined a call and then typed out exactly what you wanted to say with clarity and care, that's not weakness. That's emotional regulation. Hit subscribe if this felt a little too accurate, and tell me, do you avoid phone calls because you hate small talk, or because silence on a call feels louder than words?